Hello to the second video of Astral Forced Gear Chronicle deck profiles, and this time we are playing Lost Legend. Yeah, this deck is all about mining and is especially called a Turbo Lost Legend build because we want to get our binds very fast for that sweet extra turn. So let's get right into it. Yeah, for starters, it's just a simple V starter. This time I chose Draco Kid because he's the one who came out with Lost Legend. Trigger lineup, the same as Refang. It's 4 draws again, 4 heals, and 8 crits. You can play more draws if you want, because we want to find our pieces, so like 5, maximum of 6 could work. I chose 4 in this build because I still want to get those crits early, because this deck goes through the deck pretty quickly and I don't want to deck out myself. On the other hand, I want to find pieces, so 4 to 6 draws is all arguably fine. Next up, we have the Grade 1s. We're starting again with Chronotooth. This thing will be a staple for a long time in Gear Chronicle decks, just because he's so good. Next is Quickie Worker again, because we want those mystery flares in our deck and not in our hand or damage zone or drop zone. Maybe in our bind zone, but only when we can spare it. Only 3 Wedge Move Dragons because I had to make space for other grade 3s. So it's 11 grade 1s. I think that is fine. We want to find this thing anyway, and the rest we draw into. Also, we have Urcup and a lot of grade 3s and 4s to throw away for Stride. So I think we can get away with playing only 3 Wedge Move Dragons. Next up are the grade 2s, which are kinda different from the Fang deck, but for Urcup again, because he's a staple. 3 Lipid, because we want to bind in our main phase. It always hurts to bind to stride for 0 binds and then bind stuff with Nabu, so that's why I chose to make a 3-3 split. I tried a 4-2, but I was always happy to see Lipid in my early hand to just bind stuff from my drop zone. And with him now, we have a lot of cards we can throw away in the early game, so don't be afraid to use him early game, so to get your stuff into the drop zone. Yeah, this is for early bind, and this is for like in attack bind and get your stuff back. I kicked the other grade 2, I can't remember his name right now. He's like bind a card from your hand on call and 13k if we have cards in bind zone, because we want to throw our hand away for striding or for Urcup. And yeah, we will have a juicy drop zone for Lipid. So yeah, that's why. For our grade 3s, the newest innovation and the reason Lost Legend is getting another deck profile is Re-Innovated Dragon. His effect is Act Effect on Vanguard or Rearguard. He has a force marker, by the way. Soul+1, bind 2 Rearguards, look at 3 cards on top of your deck, call 2 cards from among them, and bind the other one. So he binds himself mostly, or not if you don't want to, and another card, which is also always like 3 to 5 bind grades already. And then he binds 2 more cards from the top of your deck. I hope you don't get any triggers, and calls another one. So he's a -1 in that sense, but because you bind so fast, makes him so good. That's why you play 4 of him. In the set next stage, there will be a grade 4 that says if you stride him, you can search your deck, excuse the train if you can hear it, you can search your deck for any grade 3 by retiring a Rearguard, and then you can just call him and use his effect. Now we have to draw into it, which is kinda but when next stage comes out, we put that in and see how that goes, which will be way better. And of course, for Lost Legend Dragons, Fang doesn't make much sense in this deck because we're not playing Rebellion, and this is a nice extra draw for Counterblast 2, and we only play 1 Counterblast card, which is Urcup, so yeah. Oh yeah, and also Chronotooth, so we can spare that Counterblast, which is pretty fine. Yeah, this is all 8 grade 3s, I'm sorry. And yeah, last but not least, the whole reason we built this deck for Mystery Flare Dragons. Let's go over it again real quickly. His first effect is if you're 3 or more cards grades in your bind zone, he gets a drive. 7 or more, he gets a crit. So in this regard, he's way slower than Chronofang. 13 or more, your whole field gets +10 the moment you stride him, and 19 or more, you get an extra turn after this, but you can't ride in this turn, and you have to throw away your whole hand. I managed to get this thing on my first stride in like one game, second stride in more games, which is really strong because we are a Force 1 deck, and Force 1 really nicely synergizes with riding a lot. So you have 2 force markers after your first, 4 force markers, 3 force markers after your second stride, and maybe even 4 at your third or more. So you have a lot of power, you hit hard, you play 8 crits, so you should see some of them. And yeah, in theory, this deck is really, really cool. In practice, it's still really inconsistent. I try to make it as consistent as possible, so maybe some more draws. But overall, we really need that grade 4 I talked about that's coming out in next stage. And I think this will always be the weakest of the 3 decks of Jet, Fang, and Lost Legend. But I still like the playstyle of playing with your bind zone and stuff. So yeah, it's pretty cool. So this is Lost Legend. The next deck profile will come when next stage gets released. I will do a trial deck opening of Asha and the Jet trial deck when it comes out. And yeah, when the Jet TD comes out, I will do a time leap deck profile for the premium format, because then we have mostly all the pieces we want, and then it makes sense to do a deck profile. Before that, I don't see much sense in it. We're still waiting for that Chrono Jet 4th grade 3. But yeah, enough rumbling. Have a nice day. Have fun with these decks. This is very affordable, apart from Urcup and Chrono Tooth. So yeah, see you around. Have fun.